Valve's latest update to Ancient broke all of our instant elbow lineups from CT and caused one of the A-side execute smokes for T-side to be a little bit worse. We're gonna dive into all the changes after I thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. For those of you that don't know, SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that allows you to select the old skins you don't want anymore and pick out some new ones from the monkey. It's a great way to freshen up that old dusty inventory, and hey, that's not all. They have some amazing filter and selection features, as well as 24/7 live support. If you click the link in the description, you can get a free $5 and a 30% deposit bonus that becomes 35% if you use my code TACTICS on the site. Don't miss out on this offer and check out SkinsMonkey today. Let's get back into the video. Alright, so let's talk about our A-side smokes. Previously, I would tell everyone to go into this corner right here and do a nice W jump throw at the angle in this plant for a donut smoke, and then a crouching jump throw at the top left of this entrance here for the CT smoke. And that donut smoke still works just great. It's going to completely smoke it off. However, the CT smoke goes a little too deep, allowing CTs to get into this nice little pocket right here, potentially surprising or killing your teammates. But hey, don't worry, from that exact same position, you're just going to do a simple jump throw at the top left of this darker square here towards the entrance, all of this while standing, no crouching involved, and that is going to end up taking a nice left side bounce here, landing directly in this pocket, completely smoking it off without any gaps on either side. And of course, if you have a teammate drop you an extra smoke into this corner, you can throw both of them as fast as you possibly can, and just like that, you have a one-man, two-smoke execute that's going to be landing within about a second of each other, which makes this even better when it comes to the hit. Now, of course, I'd also recommend having a teammate bank a molly off the top right of this wall to completely burn out anyone back here behind these default boxes. And of course, they could also bank a flash into this little pocket here to blind anyone out here around this molly, or they could just bank a flash off the back of this box here to blind anyone that's playing up in front of Donut without blinding their teammates too heavily. Alright, so let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Yes, your instant smokes are probably broken when it comes to smoking elbow from CT spawn. Everyone hates learning instant smokes, so yeah, now it's time to learn them all over again. There have been a ton of new variations posted on Twitter, on Reddit, on Discord, but I think the best one I've seen so far was posted by Faceit on Twitter. So we're just going to go ahead and use those, and I'm going to talk about why I think they're the best. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with these instant lineups, starting with spawn number 1. So, in between this darker colored U and lighter colored U, it's right up from the B pillar, you're going to aim up here to these bricks. There are two lighter colored lines, as you can see. The rightmost one, you're going to aim up towards the top of it and do a nice shift walk jump throw after a couple of steps. And that, every single time, is going to bank off the side of this wall and completely smoke off elbow, as you can see. This thing's going to expand in and be a nice tucked instant elbow smoke. The reason I prefer these is because spawn number 2 is very similar. You're going to find that same position, but you're just going to aim all the way over to the next line over. It's a darker line. You're going to aim in the same fashion and just do another shift walk jump throw. And notice how this thing is going to end up landing pretty much in the exact same way, completely smoking off elbow every single time. Now, if you want a better reference point other than just using the previous lineup, you can just find this U towards the top right of the B pillar, and you're just going to aim up to the first dark spot you can see. Now, let's go ahead and move over to spawn number 3. So, you can move from that dark spot over to this position right here. There's a nice little dark dot alongside the top of this particular brick. You can also find it very easily by finding this leaf going down to the left and just finding this nice little dark spot. It's pretty easy to spot. You're just going to do the exact same thing. Nice little shift walk jump throw, and that's yet again going to bank off the side of this wall and be a nice and deep tucked instant elbow smoke. Now, just like before, spawn number 4 is pretty easy. You're just going to find the top of this green tree, and you're going to do the same thing. A nice little shift walk jump throw after a couple of steps, and this thing every single time is going to land all the same as it would before, as you can see right here on the corner, completely smoking it off. And finally, for spawn number 5, I'm going to aim in between these two U shapes, in between the A pillar. You're going to go up to the top to this first row of bricks, and as you can see, in between these two spots, there's a darker dot right here. I'm going to turn my crosshair off. It's a little bit easier to see when I have that disabled, but you're just going to do a nice simple shift walk jump throw just like all the others, and that should be landing in the exact same fashion as we would expect right here into the corner. And again, this is very early on. I'm sure the pros will find some easier and better lineups for these, but for now, hopefully this works. I'd also linked in a pretty good variation, I'm showing it on screen right now, from u/rubydendron. He found these very quickly this morning and posted them on Reddit, so shout out to him as well. If you hate the variation I showed from Faceit, feel free to check his out because they may be a little bit easier for you. Hey, and of course, just for some supporting utility along with these instant elbow smokes, let's just say, you know, you've got one player throwing this. Whoever has the best spawn to go ahead and deal with mid should be going alongside here, throwing a molly like this, and then an HE like this that's going to allow you to nuke anyone trying to run through, along with bonking an HE right on the top of this player's head. Since this Molotov completely spreads out instantly, the way I like to throw this is by getting my back up against this wall, and I'm going to aim up from this brick to the top of this part of the wall and just do a run through and release the second I get onto that first row of stairs. That's going to instantly spread from the far left to the far right. Now, it does leave a pocket right here for this gap, but that's how I generally am going to be throwing an HE and farming a lot of damage on anyone that is setting up into that corner, and I'm trying to condition them to not go there. If they are making it a habit of setting up in that position, oftentimes what I'll do is just bank a flash off this position. That way I can peek with that and catch anyone that's deep in that corner. Now, of course, sometimes you'll see the pros throwing the molly, similar to how I threw the HE like this, to where they completely eradicate the possibility of someone being back in this corner. But overall, I prefer just throwing one that's going to make sure you're catching both the far left to the far right. Again, however you prefer to do it, go right ahead. And again, the one downside, in my opinion, to throwing the molly like this is you're going to risk there being a pretty sizable gap right here along the right side where I can just run through here and not take any damage whatsoever. Again, it's a trade-off and a decision that you have to make based on how the enemies are playing in your game. Now, I've had a lot of people in the TikTok comments say, hey, just release it way later to where it's going to end up banking off the side and mollying out both this corner and the far side. Let's talk about how that's going to look. If you try to release it at the last possible second so that it is going to for sure get everything, well, the timing doesn't really work out all that well, does it? Now, of course, if you contrast that with throwing this much sooner, notice how this player is going to have to take way more damage going for this peak, and it's going to be landing right here in the zone that they're going to be fighting from. And yes, your instant smokes for red should be working all the same. Nothing really has changed here, just to show off a couple of the basics. Yeah, these are still landing just fine up here into top red, so I wouldn't expect anything else to have really changed. Now, over here on B side, some of the textures on this wall have changed. So previously, I would always recommend throwing this set here. Everything still works just fine. I would say the flash, maybe a little bit different, just aim in the dead center of this brick. That way the flash is going to land on the back side of the pillar here. It's not going to blind your teammates, but it'll catch anyone that's either behind these smokes, playing up here along this back wall, or even maybe close here under cave, an angle like this. It should just completely roast them. But overall, I don't think much has really changed when it comes to these lineups. So yeah, guys, that just about completes all the changes that I think are essential to know about when it comes to the new version of Ancient. What do you guys think about these changes? Are you happy? Are you excited? What do you think about the future of Counter-Strike? And I'll see you guys in the next one. But before I actually go, I do want to thank all of my amazing channel members on screen right now. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do what I love every single day. And again, I'll see you in the next one.